Hello, everyone, and welcome to GodSaw's Turnbuckle, the wrestling podcast I run over here on YouTube.com. And I wanted to make this video based upon events that happened yesterday. Actually, I had a plan for a different video to go up, but I wanted to talk about this one first versus actually going forward with the other video. And that is because of the WWE travel issues, which caused most of the crew and superstars to be stuck in Saudi Arabia for quite some time. We'll just leave it at that after the Crown Jewel event. Now, obviously, it was heavily reported that many of them were stuck in there based upon different style of stories that have been going out. There's an official report, and there's other stories that are quote unquote getting out there as well. I'll talk about one of those main ones because honestly, I feel like both of the stories that are out there at this point in time actually warrant some truth behind both of them to go along with it. So that's kind of why I wanted to talk on that one to go along with it. Obviously, there was other factors that went into everything in the terms of people who are on private jets. As you know, Vince was able to leave. Brock Lesnar, Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, they were on private jets, and they were on different jets versus the charter flight that was from Atlas. That was the charter for the rest of the crew and everything going over to the country. Now, there's two main stories that are making their rounds. Most of this is all based around on the internet and everything to go along with it. Honestly, there's no major news networks that are picking up on this story in any way, shape, or form at this time, at least from the way that I've seen so far. I've taken a look at many of the other ones, and I haven't seen a news story such as like on a CNN or an MSNBC or a Fox News or anything like that. Haven't seen any type of story on this one. So the first one that I will talk about is the official report. The official report that is out there based upon everything. That the charter flight from Atlas that was getting everybody from Saudi Arabia back over to the United States, also the same flight that got them over to there for the Crown Jewel event, was having mechanical issues, and it delayed the flight for quite some time. I've personally, on a personal level, I've experienced something like this before, where the not in the terms of a charter, but in the terms of a commercial flight, that they had one of the planes that we were supposed to fly on had mechanical issues. The company did not have another plane to actually get everybody else aboard on at the time at that particular airport, so we were stuck at the airport for quite some time. So there is little truth on that particular one to go along with it. But there's also other aspects of it as well. Atlas, WWE said that there was mechanical issues, and then Atlas hours later came out and apologized, saying it's like safety first. The plane that the WWE superstars were on was having mechanical issues, so there was a big delay to go along with it. So there is slight truth on that one, because there's another, and I'll get into why that has slight truth when I get into this other portion as well, which is the other story that is out there, which also I feel like has some truth to it as well, because, well, I could definitely see it happening with this one. The other story that's been going out, and this was originally, given to Dave Meltzer via Hugo Savinovich, which, if you know him, he's one of the Spanish announcers for the company, or at least had been for quite some time. It was heavily rumored, and he definitely put out there that apparently WWE had been owed for the last couple of shows, and that there was a heated argument between Vince McMahon and Saudi Arabia officials, and even threatening of taking the live feed off of the air for Saudi Arabia only. Now, there's slight truth to that, because there have been some reports of people who were living over there that it wasn't taken off the air, but it was delayed by an hour on that one. So that there is something there. to go along with it. Also, craziness if that is fully true. Craziness on Vince McMahon's side that he would even attempt something like that, especially with the aspects of this being probably one of the most talked about shows that he had done over there since the first one. The other ones weren't really talked about in many lights because of, well, a lot of the bad stuff that was going on over there to go along with it. But they had the first ever women's match in Saudi Arabia, which again is a actual like one of those actual, you know, first and historical moments over there. You also had a universal title change that happened over there as well, with The Fiend winning the Universal title over Seth Rollins. So you're going to have to talk about this event a lot. And honestly, they did during SmackDown. If you saw what happened with SmackDown, they ended up doing the NXT invasion because of what had happened. I think they did this a little bit sooner than what they were originally wanting to do at this point in time because of, you know, the circumstances. But I think they had something like this planning because of Survivor Series coming up, that they had, you know, it was Raw, SmackDown, and NXT at Survivor Series. So you would imagine something like this would have happened at some point in time with that one. So the reason why I say the first one does have, the first report does have some, you know, truth to it. Is because of the issues that happened with this argument. The rumor mill is that the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia actually pulled them from coming. This is after Vince and all the other private jets had left to come home. Actually stopped this plane from going and pulled all the superstars off of that. They sat apparently at the on the runway for about 6 hours or something like that to go along with it. One of the reasons why I feel like there's some truth to the first story. Now, granted, I'm also really glad that people are trying to dig into this as much as they possibly can as well, because it just gives an aspect of, you know, you can't always listen to and believe everything you read or that is on video in some cases to go along with it. So it's very good that people are questioning it. Honestly, I feel like that second story as well has some truth to it as well, that is a distinct possibility that it happened. But this is also a distinct possibility that the mechanical issue one was also truthful as well. To go along with it. It's just going to be a matter of which one you believe is going to be the actual truth to go along with it. The reason why I say the mechanical one has some truth behind it is because 20 people from WWE were able to charter their own flight in Saudi Arabia to try to get home in time for SmackDown. It was apparently 8 officials and 12 superstars. Reported superstars that were on that flight were Dash Wilder, Scott Dawson, Big E, Kofi Kingston, Roman Reigns, Baron Corbin to go along with it. So everybody who was actually advertised to have a match on SmackDown that night. And I would imagine a few others that would have been on there as well, but those were the ones that I really heard of that were apparently on that flight to go along with it. Now, that's why I think there's some truth towards mechanical issue, because if the other one is true and the Crown Prince stopped that flight from going, and then they just paid for another charter flight and was able to go, don't you think they would have stopped that one as well and not had them be able to leave the ground or anything to go along with that? That is one of the things that I'm throwing out there. That's why there's a piece of me that says, you know what, that first one has some truth. But also, you have this one over here is like, okay, apparently maybe they owe them money, and there was a heated argument and almost a potential of taking it off of the air in Saudi Arabia to go along with it. There is some truth on that one. And obviously, if that was the case, of course the Crown Prince would not be happy based upon what is going on. But also, if they're not getting paid for the actual shows, that's also kind of breaking the contract as well to go along with that. I'm not going to go into the full business side of everything with this one, but there is some truth to the potential for those reports, because apparently during the quarterlies, during their quarterly reports, that financial reports that they have to do for the shareholders, everything like that, there's a very heavy amount in the accounts receivable of over $60 million. To go along with that, where it was also reported that 46% of that portion was by one customer. Now, in the terms of those financial reports, they only have to actually give the numbers that are there. They don't have to divulge the actual customers at that point in time. They don't have to actually report those. So it could be whatever it is to go along with that one. But you would have to make, you would have to put two and two together. It's like, okay, there's a potential that the government or the sports authority that they have over there could be owing WWE quite a chunk of money. And Vince, obviously, in that sense, you know, it is a business transaction, even with the aspects of what, quote unquote, they're over there for, to go along with it, which is Saudi Arabia's plan to try to show the world that they're a different place, which they have been failing at doing for quite some time, though there are certain changes that seem to be taking place at this point. And again, change takes a lot of time to go along with it. The fact that they even were able to have a women's match over there is something that you just have, like, was unfathomable for quite some time to go along with it. So, you know, it is what it is on that particular one. And you can see that there would be some truth on that particular side, because obviously if Vince is not getting paid, or we'll not say Vince, but we'll say WWE as a company is not getting paid for those shows at this point, then why are they doing them? Why are they doing them without the other aspects behind it? It was a business deal. It was a business contract to go along with it. So you could totally see Vince doing something like that, where he is like, well, we're going to take it off the air. Which, don't get me wrong, on that particular one, and you could totally see Vince doing something like that on that particular side, because, well, it is him, and he doesn't really fear all that much, from what you can tell on that one. But like, to even do that, there's a piece of me that thinks that might not have happened, but there's also the piece of me that says, yeah, that could have happened. That could have happened. But that's why I'm saying, on my end, because it's hard to tell which one is truthful and which one is not. There's obviously an official report that is out there to go along with it. Also, like I said, no other news sites are picking it up at this point in time to go along with it. And you would imagine, if there was an inkling of something outside of this happening, one of those other news areas would pick up on it, especially with how much coverage that was done with Saudi Arabia and the Khashoggi thing. You would imagine something like this, if there was truthfulness to the Crown Prince stopping this plane from, you know, leaving Saudi Arabia, and because of what had happened, you would figure one of those news sites would have gotten something, and they would have picked up on it. And you would have seen news reports on it, which we have not seen since on Thursday or Friday, or even today, Saturday, to go along with it. Now, as of this video, the best thing about this is that, yes, all of the WWE superstars and crew have left Saudi Arabia. They have made it back over to the States. You've been seeing them posting on Twitter, coming back, everything to go along with that. Natalia's posted, landed, everything to go along with that as well. So it seems like everybody's back on that one. Now it's going to be an aspect of figuring out what the truth is now, to go along with that, and what you feel the truth is. Because like I said, both sides warrant being talked about, and both sides, they're based off of like how the evidence kind of goes with everything that has been going. both stories actually kind of fit with what's going on, to go along with it. That, there's this story out there that says that it is more than just more than just a mechanical issue. There was something else that went down, but also based on other factors towards the mechanical issue, there's truthfulness and something that fits it together is like, oh, maybe it was just a mechanical issue, to go along with it. Because they're not really saying what the mechanical issue is. Also, playing areas and charters don't necessarily have to say what the mechanical issue is. They just have to put some kind of statement out there if that's the case. And it's just one of those things that it feels like there's more going on, and it definitely is worth taking a look at further. Now, obviously, I don't have any type of insight on my end. I'm not a full investigative journalist or anything like that. I'm basically going off of everything I've seen and everything I've viewed, taking a look at other news sites. Is somebody picking up something on this that isn't just what we're reading off of wrestling side? Or is it really just a mechanical issue? Who knows? Who knows? I don't know if we'll ever get the full truth. I'm going to definitely be taking a look at it. And I'm going to be keeping an eye on the stories themselves and see if something else comes out about this. But I kind of wanted to make a video, describing both ends of it, and that both ends kind of fit. They kind of fit with what they're saying. There's truthfulness on both ends. And it's going to be hard to tell which one is the actual truth and which one isn't. Is there a potential that both of them are true? Well, if that's the case, both of them were true in some way, shape, or form, in the terms of only bits and pieces of it were true. Say, yes, there was a heated argument because of money based off of them apparently owing them. Then there's a mechanical issue. That's a weird coincidence. Guess what? Coincidences, I'm not big on. I'm not big on those ones. So it's hard to tell which one is truthful, which one isn't. Like I said, apparently 20 people were able to charter a flight, took off, and obviously they didn't make it to SmackDown in time, based upon that, but were able to do that while everybody else was there because of, potential mechanical issues. Or is it that the Crown Prince grounded the entire thing, and there was a heated argument while they were there over money, based off of this being a business transaction in the end, to go along with it. It's hard to say. Like I said, I'm going to keep an eye on it. If there's more developments on this outside of what we've heard so far, then, I'll make another video about it. Otherwise, it's kind of up to what you want to decide which one is the truth and which one isn't at this point in time. So, with that being said, that's everything I've got for you on this one. Whatever you end up believing is what you end up believing. I'm not really going to give that because I wanted to give both sides of that one to go along with it. So I'm still looking into I'm still keeping an eye on it, and we'll see where everything kind of goes from here. And with that being said, if you do like this, give it a like and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be looking to do other videos for GodSaw's Turnbuckle here in the very near future. Thank you for watching the video. Take care. And again, the most important thing is that they're all back. They're all safe. That is probably the most important thing on this one. So with that being said, take care. Have a great rest of your evening.